When in flow, your state of high performance becomes almost effortless and certainly feels that way. You can do the impossible without breaking a sweat. But flow only comes a small percentage of the time during most of our efforts. Olympic speed skater Apollo Ono has stated that while high flow was mostly present in his Olympic races, the majority of his racing time and training was not spent in that elusive state. And so there has to be more than flow to explain world class performance. So, flow, it seems, may lie beneath the surface of the iceberg, hiding away most of the time until opportunities spring up, the conditions align for optimal arousal and attention to trigger that effortless state. Meanwhile, when things aren't going according to plan for performers of any sort to reach flow, can they throw in the towel and try again later? Not at all. The show must go on. That's where clutch comes in handy. Clutch state has more recently surfaced as the alternate route to pushing human performance to the limit. When Michael Jordan played through food poisoning in Game 5 against the Jazz, there's no way that he was flowing through that game with his depleted state or the pain he was experiencing. Clutch performances are a grind. It's that grit and determination to make it happen whatever it takes, instead of letting go and letting it flow as the way to achieve the goal. The outcome of clutch and flow are about the only two things the states have in common, though. Flow requires conscious letting go of the reins of control and experiencing what is happening. It's when you just go on autopilot, as Alex Honnold has said about tackling the most difficult problems in free climbing a rock wall. To rise to the occasion with clutch, a decision has to be made and a switch flipped. You need to increase the intensity and effort to another level to get it done. And this is why training grit and discipline is also important for performing your very best. This is part of the mastery stage of developing a high flow lifestyle. Developing a gritty perseverance will allow you to tap into clutch states better. The question that comes from this is how to decide when to clutch and when to flow. This is why there is an art to peak performance. You're not going to find a flow chart to give you the answer here on when to clutch and when to flow. And in the circumstances that demand the utmost of you, you won't have the time to pull out that diagram and follow the steps anyway. The dance of high performance is in training your instincts to know what to do best in the situation you find yourself in. When Patrick Mahomes suffered a high ankle sprain during the playoffs of the 2022 season and had a defensive tackle roll it in the Super Bowl, any state of flow he might have been in was immediately sucked away. He wasn't going to play effortlessly with pain coursing through his leg, feeling like he was wearing a cinder block for a shoe. He had to up the intensity and push harder. As his dad, a professional baseball player in his own day, celebrated with him after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, he told his son, "I've never seen anyone like you before. You're different." So while the type of flow that unlocks the impossible may not be a dime a dozen experience, the fluidity of circumstances when everything is on the line requires us to have more nuanced and discerning ability to perform no matter the situation. The performers that captivate our attention and that we can learn from in training ourselves to be better, no matter what we want to achieve for ourselves, are those that not only can let go and surrender to the experience to flow with it, but also know how to cinch their belt tighter, strap in, and load the weight of the world on their shoulders to win. So with this dichotomy of clutch and flow in mind, take some time for yourself and whatever that primary flow activity is for you, and think about how you can apply some of these principles of using more grit, being more disciplined in order to master that skill so you know how to push through those hard points or those sticking points that we often see in the struggle phase of flow that are going to help you to ultimately flow more, but also know how to perform your very best when things are just not going your way.